Okay, our guys is here. This is the OK conversation on OKFM 99.5. This is a conversation you do not want to miss. You know, when I used to listen to radio, when I was not on radio, whenever I heard about these kinds of people, I wanted to listen. I wanted to be inspired. This kind of shows you have the 2K view, 3K views, and blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, for someone to learn to that level, one, then for them to want to do the things the gentleman is being involved with, building a city, you want to listen. So don't go away. Stick and stay. Let's take this very quick break with one of our sponsors, just one. And then we come to him. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5.
Che, they were really falling like this. I'm not getting on air to go transfer money to my son.
My friend, you know here for the new app here in town?
But what kind of apps again?
Ghana Cash. It makes sending money easy like beans and bread.
You really mean that? Ma, tell me more about this app here.
You can send money from Liberia to Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, even Guinea. You can also receive money too.
Tell me something. Tell you me I can't get on the ring here?
No standing in line business. Anywhere you see Ghana Cash sticker or logo in money changer area, shops and bank, go there and transfer your money to your phone. So you can be able to send money anywhere, anytime at your convenience. They are located on 14th Street Single, Rossier Avenue.
Ma, thank you for the so money, Jesus.
It's an app you can download on your phone and you can just send money to your family and loved ones. Go to Play Store and download Ghana Cash. Just tap KANACASH. Ghana Cash. With Ghana Cash, you can send and receive money from 170 countries, including USA, Canada, and India.
Welcome back. We have with us Dr. Sannah Ziama.
I tend to optimize my usage of time, and I feel that my time is well spent doing other things than cutting my hair.
To go sit down for 15, 20 minutes to cut hair.
It turns out that I have actually calculated you barely spend 15 minutes cutting hair. It's mostly, even if you don't have people in a queue, you tend to spend at least 30 minutes to get a haircut, a minimal haircut.
So that's why you just left it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about you. Who is Dr. Ziama?
Yeah, thank you very much. So firstly, I want to correct something. XITY is pronounced Xity.
Okay, that's how you pronounce it.
I know it's kind of weird, but that's the pronunciation. So I am a Liberian, and I am a theoretical physicist by training, but I work as a senior artificial intelligence scientist at Amazon, and also lead a fairly large team of other senior scientists, an eclectic team of economists, statisticians, data scientists, and computer scientists. But what is relevant for my appearance here today is the work that I'm doing in Liberia.
Sure, but I like for people to be inspired by people like you. So give us a little bit background back in Liberia, the elementary, high school, and blah, blah, blah.
Great.
Just give us a little background.
Sure. So I graduated from the William V.S. Tubman High School.
Okay.
I happened...
that was around when?
That was 1998-99.
Okay.
I happened to be the captain of the quizzing team then.
Okay.
I was fortunate to have very brilliant classmates and colleagues during that time. And
you want to name some of them?
Yes, my teammates, for instance, I had some great men. I had Edwin Gray.
Okay.
I had Fambo Dakina. We used to call him the Archduke. We had Leroy Belde. We had Factotum, Jacob Bandio, but his quizzical name was the Factotum. We had, who else? Abraham Kiazulu. We had Sando Fambule. And guys, please forgive me out there if I didn't name you.
Yeah.
But those were all very brilliant young men, my peers in Topman High then. I think we did a pretty good job of upholding the name of Topman High when it came to its reputation in the quizzing arena. I don't want to take a lot of credit for that, but I had a great team that I was leading, and they did exceptionally well when it comes to that. And I think I was just the puppet leader for the team, but I had super brilliant teammates. So I was fortunate to be given the captainship, so to speak, and say, hey, you be the leader for us. I happen to also be the youngest and the smallest among
Yeah,
them.
with all the competitions from the different private and faith-based schools and going to top high, looked down upon and still being able to perform. I mean, how did they try to feel who you became in later life?
Yeah, no, that's a very important aspect, and I think when I speak about students nowadays, I tend to be a little bit considerate of the fact that if I want to be fair to students, I don't think we should expect the excellent performance that we require of them, and I hope they are not listening so they don't use it as an excuse to do poorly. But we should recognize that we have the impact of the environment on these students. Now, in my case, it was fortuitous for me because I don't think the environment influenced me a lot. And I'll give you a typical example of this. We had a school, Topman High, at a time where there was very little regulation of what teachers could do. So most of the dedication to studying was motivated by, at least it was sourced from inherent commitment and desire to learn, as opposed to something in the society that you would be inspired by. There was nothing to be inspired by, to be quite honest with you. So for instance, people ask me, even in the West, where and we'll come to that, where I've been. But people will be surprised. Why did I pick up theoretical physics of all things, right? String theory, particularly, one of the most tantalizing subjects to study, right? What inspired me to do so? And it was really something innate, more than some external factor that motivated me to do so. Not one in my family was the inspiring person, the scientist, or the person to look up to for academic inspiration, nor in the Liberian society, period, right? So those kind of things, I think you just get fortunate to have that type of tendency, and you basically I stuck to it while we were going hungry for this, and my classmates and people who knew me from 12th Street. I live right there in the congested community of 12th Street, and I went hungry for days and nights. But I was always the first to go to the camping site when we wanted to quiz, right? And I was always there, encouraging my men not to miss the night to go and camp, right? So I don't think there was something externally. I don't want to give false credits where it is not. So I tend to talk to students these days and say, hey, you have to work hard, you have to study well and things, but we have to take into consideration that not many of them will have this tendency that some of us were fortunately perhaps inherently endowed with. So we have to make the environment better for our students to aspire to great things.
How did you get to the U.S.?
Yeah, so I happened to win the diversity visa lottery, and I went to the United States. Before then, I had applied for various scholarships, for which, if we were based on meritocratic tendencies, like I would have been out of Liberia before even I played that diversity visa lottery to go to the United States. But I was denied those opportunities.
Did you go to college here first?
Yes, I attended the University of Liberia for a few semesters. I don't remember how many now. But yet, I took some placement tests to go to Russia, for instance. I was the top scorer on the math exam, yet I wasn't selected. That's a long story. But then when I went to the United States, I started all of my education, and I enrolled in the program. I thought that the program at the university wasn't challenging enough. in the United States. I was impressed by the quality of lessons there. But I enrolled in a program that should have awarded me a bachelor's in general physics and a master's in mechanical engineering in 5 years. So I would have done this program simultaneously, my bachelor's in physics and my master's in mechanical engineering. But I was fortunate to complete that in 4 years. So I finished with very high recommendations. And then I got a job offer without applying for one at one of the most respectable engineering companies that produces very heavy-duty engines. It's called Cummins engineering firm. And being a poor boy, just went to the United States after 4 years. I get this huge job offer with extremely high salary. But I was bent on studying physics at the highest level, at understanding the universe at a more deeper level. So I rejected the offer, and that came as a big surprise. Yeah.
Well, that's hard to take.
Yeah.
More so, you're coming from Liberia. You have a whole family back here looking up to you. You have to fend for yourself, and you have a big bucks offer to work. And you say no.
Yeah. So it's an interesting point. I think it's good to have this conversation with someone like you who understands the context of Liberian families. So I had a huge expectation and family expectation, friends expectation to start sending money back home. And all the excuse I had in my first 4 years of college in the United States was that, hey, my friend, I'm still in school, man. Let me finish school and then I'll try to send you money. But then after 4 years, I got this big job offer. That's when I was supposed to start sending my family some money. But then I told them I would not accept this offer. And I was still broke. I was still broke for a while. I had to get a PhD in physics. But it was a tough decision. I talked to the one person whose opinion mattered most in this situation, besides my mother, and that was my eldest brother. I talked to him about it, and he supported me. And he said to me, listen, this is a big offer. None of us in our family has ever dreamt of making this amount of money. You did not even apply for this job. You were given the job. And even when I rejected it, by the way, the hiring manager called me on the phone and said to me, listen, do you want more money? Do you want an apartment? Do you want a vehicle? The Cummins, they build engines for all these car manufacturing companies that build heavy duty vehicles. So they get a pretty good deal on getting vehicles free. So they can just dish those out to people they want to impress. So all of those perks were coming after I rejected, but I still said no. But that one opinion from our brother boosted my enthusiasm to go and continue to study PhD. It helped me reduce the guilt I was feeling for rejecting this opportunity to make more money quickly, as opposed to pursuing my dreams, my intellectual pursuits. And I did just that. So I went to Purdue University. And of all things, it seems like I tend to find trouble for myself. I decided to study a branch of physics called string theory. And now, if you don't understand, if you're not familiar with this concept, so string theory tries to solve one of the most tantalizing problems in all of physics. A problem that Albert Einstein struggled to solve until his dying days. He could not figure out. And that is, how do we unite quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that describes everything from the most tiniest of fundamental particles, with general relativity that basically describes all of the physics behavior of large bodies. Those two subjects tend to not want to talk to each other. It's a pursuit for us in modern physics to unite those two branches of physics so that we have a unified theory that describes all of physics. And so string theory is the most viable proposition to provide a solution. But unfortunately, it is highly inaccessible because of its deep mathematical abstractions. So that is what I chose to study for some reason.
Why did you choose to pursue it, talking about particles, which of course may go to the formation of the universe and all those kinds of things? Why did you want to go there?
Exactly. I think so from the beginning. This is where again maybe a little bit of the environmental challenges actually nudged me a little bit in this area of physics. we didn't have laboratories going to high school here. So I was very good at abstract subjects like mathematics and things like that and physics. So naturally, when I was selecting an area to go into, it had to be something abstract. And because I love mathematics so much, it had to be something at the intersection of the most fundamental subjects of the universe, which is physics and mathematics. And string theory offered me that perfect opportunity to do so. And also within string theory, I also chose one of the most mathematical subjects to study. And that is, so this problem of uniting quantum mechanics and general relativity, there were hypotheses at the time of why we think this string theory describes these two things, and we now have a valid theory. And this idea was called the ADS-CFT correspondence, or the holographic conjecture, right? So in physics, when we say conjecture, which is different from everyday language, it's not just like an empty guess, right? It is a conjecture that is based on deep thinking and some amount of evidence, but the evidence is not yet sufficient to make a physical law, so we call it a conjecture. So the thing that I did was to provide a definitive proof that this conjecture is indeed actually correct, because many physicists had tried to compute something called a Wilson loop. And it is one of the most fundamental objects in physics that describes all of the particles. But these objects are super difficult to compute. And at the time, before I wrote my thesis and my follow-up publications when I finished my PhD, that basically solved that problem once and for all.
That's what you did in your thesis?
Yes. So I did a series of papers. One of them was my thesis, to say, hey, I've discovered a new way to compute these objects called Wilson loops. That was my thesis. So I announced that, hey, I have a new way to compute these Wilson loops. In fact, here's how I apply it. I have computed some things that you have computed, and we have the same answers. Beyond that, I have computed some things that you have not been able to compute. So now, because the method worked on an example or on examples for which you have known answers, now you have no choice but to believe this on new examples. And I did that. And then after my PhD, when I went into further research, I followed up by computing an infinite set of examples. So that was what my PhD was about.
Wow. Just so impressive. And we could go on and on and on. What did that make you gain in the work world later?
Yeah.
How did you do?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So, and I will also add that into how I managed to then migrate from academic work to industry work. So when I did all of this work, even post-graduation, my research times at universities that I work at, I had the honor for doing this work. I had the honor of being invited to the most respectable. You know, there are a few institutions in the world that you can consider the citadel of learning. That means those institutions hold the most solutions to the most difficult and challenging and tantalizing problems that humankind has faced. One of them is the Institute for Advanced Studies at Princeton, New Jersey. I was invited there because of my work that I published in my PhD thesis and the follow-up works. I was invited there as a special guest, and I talked to some of the most brilliant physicists. Men that really, among even the smartest physicists, they are almost like godlike. They have that godlike attribute about them because of their deep insight, right? But one thing kept nagging at me with all of these personal accomplishments and my dreams of academic pursuits being fulfilled. I did not feel that Liberia anytime soon would ever understand the impact of the work that I've done in pure science. And I did not want to just exist, satisfying my own intellectual pursuit without impacting Liberia in the short or intermediate term. I know my physics work has significant impact, right? As a body of work, as a work, as an effort to push the limits of human knowledge. But what about providing, the daily bread for an average Liberian? It had zero impact on that. And I wanted to make impact. And so one of the ways I thought about doing that was to transition to industry and work in the tech industry, particularly in artificial intelligence. And the reason was two. One, the reason for choosing artificial intelligence of all things was two main reasons. One, it will give me some money, which I wasn't earning in academia. Of course, that's not why you go into academia. I would never earn the kind of money I earn in industry in working artificial intelligence. The other thing was also the network it will give me, right? Give me access to a certain network that will be very useful for the kind of things I wanted to do in Liberia. And that thing was, how do I really help our transition to an industrialized state? So I transitioned into industry, and I moved, of all places, I moved to Silicon Valley, right? The mecca of the tech industry in the US, and spent years there working in artificial intelligence as a data scientist. And then after some stints with some small and big companies, I ended up at Amazon, where I currently work as a senior scientist, and also leading a team of an eclectic team of scientists. Really, I have some economists, statisticians, all working for me.
Do you have any favorite article or the title of your dissertation, as we who studied in the British era would say? Do you have any one that you really, see, I put my everything into this?
Yeah, so my last paper, because that was the culmination of everything, right? I forgot the title of the paper now, but you will find it was something about holographic computations, something like that is in it. If you search for my name, Google my name, or check on arxiv.org, arxiv.org. That's where paper ARX capital X IV.org.
Okay.
That's where we post a lot of scientific papers. Search for my name, Ziama. You'll see series of papers there. But if you also Google my name, nowadays Google can lead you to papers, the scientific papers that people have written. Something about a holographic conjecture. You will see the paper that I wrote, the last paper. But all of them are really, so I wrote, I was very selective about writing paper. I don't just write paper because, paper is there to be written. I wrote things that were really significant and impactful. So, yeah.
Okay, good. How did X City come into all of this?
Excellent. So as I transitioned, as I said, from academia to industry, I was thinking then, what is it that I wanted to do in Liberia? And I wanted to solve many problems, because many problems were poking at me: education, healthcare, job availabilities, right? Upgrading people's skills, right, into tech and all the sort of things. And I noticed also that if you look at the challenges in Liberia, if I describe them mathematically, and I'll be very simplistic about this so it doesn't frighten anyone, we all have solved certain equations called systems of linear equations. So that means, like, you will have one equation, two variables are in there, but you can't solve one equation that has two unknown variables. So you have to have two equations, right? And this same goes, right? If you start increasing the number of variables, then you need a set of equations that can be able to solve that problem, right? Other than that, the problem is usually underdetermined if you don't have the number of equations as equivalent to the number of variables. So Liberia problems, right? Because take, for instance, if we have problem in healthcare and road issue, right? Those two problems are interlinked. You can't solve one in isolation of the other. So it is the same thing with systems of linear equations. So you have to solve them simultaneously, right? So that's why if you look in your algebra book, they say, right, solution of system of equations, solving them simultaneously. You will have those instructions. So that's how I visualized the Liberian problem. So I wanted to solve multiple problems at the same time, because the solution for one problem in isolation of the other will be suboptimal. So for me to get optimal solutions for any of the problems that we face here, I thought solving it simultaneously would work best. And to do that,
it is interesting, because a few days ago I've been delving into this whole thing about IQ.
yeah.
Where a report was released. Our average IQ as Liberian falls below 50 and all of that. And I was discussing the issue of IQ using it to solve problems. And you were talking about, you are one of the high IQ persons from our country going into science, becoming a scientist and all of that. So it is very, it is coincidental that we also got you here to advance on what we were saying, solving problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think there are many brilliant Liberians.
Yeah, sure.
But anyways, so that's where I basically narrowed down and said, to do this, I should build a city. You know, in building a city, you don't just build the infrastructure. So you build all of these systems and services and all of those things. For instance, you are building healthcare services, you are building education services, you are building roads, right? You are upskilling people to work in the city. You are providing the necessary advanced education for them to work once the city is built. So simultaneously, we are looking at all of the challenges in Liberia, and then we are solving it on a macro scale, hence the macro city. But that was how Exity idea came to crystallize in my head.
And then, when did you start? Where are you now? What's happening?
Perfect. So right now we are clearing the site for building the first residential homes, and we started about 2 years ago, physical work, and we've done a lot of investments there. We've imported some machines from China. We have built an equipment yard on 3 acres that is fenced right now. We have also started planting our first batch of 3,000 trees. We are giving back to the environment.
What is the total landmark, the total acres?
Yeah, no, great question. So we are currently clearing 280 acres to be expanded to 400 acres.
Where particularly?
It's located along the RIA highway. Once you pass the Palm One station, almost approaching Ambush Curve.
Oh, okay.
There's a town on the road called Fodes Town. And
Okay.
there's a,
Is it after? There's another town where they have the Lipa school.
yes, it's after. It's right
Okay.
after that school.
Okay.
The town right situated on the road.
Yeah.
And then there's a dirt road on the right-hand side that leads to X City.
Oh, okay.
So the way the model of this city is, look, I think one of the challenges we have to solve is also we have to create wealth. So the way we are building X-City is that we open it up for individual investment. But let's just talk about the components of X-City. X-City has dedicated zones, one for residential communities where you can build your home. So you, Julius, I'm going to tell all of your listeners to make sure to nudge you to build your home in X-City. So we have residential zones. You can come and buy a spot in the residential zone, and only residential homes are going to be built there. So that's why it's dedicated. And then we have a zone for low-tech manufacturing, right? We want to get involved in the process of manufacturing. There's also another zone for healthcare. So beyond us building homes for people who want to be located in residential zones, we also offer these opportunities for us to build businesses. So if you want to build the next OKFM studio in the future, we urge you to look to X-City, to locate there. So for instance, one thing we could do is that, take for example, Julius could say, hey, I know about radio, I know how to operate the business of radio. So X-City, here, let's sign a deal. If you build me the station, the studio, according to how a modern studio is supposed to be, I will lease the building from you. Right? So that is one form of opportunity where we can collaborate with Julius, right? To do business in X-City. The other thing again is Julius will say, no, I want to be the owner of the infrastructure, the building, right? That the OKFM studio will be located in. So Julia can co-invest along with X-City and own the building. And then OKFM will pay rent or lease to Julius plus X-City Incorporated that own that infrastructure. So we've broken it down to the point where single individual Liberians can actually can own a share in X-City by investing on the small level. The reason why we do that is because we know this investment is going to return a very huge, significant return on investment on your capital invested. But we don't want to build a system in which one person gets rich out of all of this, right? And the rest of the people are simple followers. We want to build a system that has a shared reward for all of us that basically invest in it. And we also want to remove the barriers for investment. And some of those barriers can be the high cost of owning a share in a big thing like X-City, right? So that's why we've broken it down to small components so that someone can come and say, hey, I want to build a small elementary school in X-City, right? How can I partner with X-City? And that school will be located in the education zone. So that's how all of the zones are dedicated. And there are many more different opportunities. But the one thing we are doing right now, I can tell you, is that the site clearing for the residential homes, we have a lot of diaspora Liberians who are flocking in to get a home in a well laid out community. These alleyways in the residential zone alone are 33 feet wide. Okay? So compare that to the major roads or major streets we have in Monrovia, they are even bigger. And the reason why we dedicated so much space to that is because we know the comfort of lifestyle people are accustomed to, especially people who have traveled abroad, right? And when they come to Liberia, or the only way we can firstly even attract them to Liberia, we have to offer them the space that they can enjoy that same comfort, right? So that is why we are designing the spaces like that, so they have good sidewalk to walk around in their neighborhoods and things like that.
Interesting. How do people get in contact? People may be interested. How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, no, thank you. We have various means of contacts. One, we have a website they can go to.
What is it?
Is excityafrica.com. So you put into your browser https://excityafrica.com, and Excity, remember, is spelled XITY Africa.com. So you put that in your web browser, you will hit our website. That's the first thing. The other thing again is that we have an email address. It's also info@excityafrica.com. info@excityafrica.com. So that is an official email. You can reach the entire team by that email. The other thing, we also have a phone number that you can call locally or via WhatsApp. You can call or text, and that number is 077909012. So it's 777909012.
Now, let us talk still a little bit more about give us a picture of the future X-City.
Yeah, no, this is great. So in the future, what we envision in X-City, we envision experts from the United States, for instance, who have already bought their spots in X-City residential zone. Healthcare experts, biomedical scientists, right? Medical doctors, right? Various expert nurses, right? In whether you are talking about intensive care nurses, whether you are talking about respiratory nurses, people who are well experienced in working in some of the best facilities in the West. They will be living in X-City, and they will be providing services at a healthcare facility in X-City. So imagine that, right? So X-City will be the future destination of people seeking good healthcare, right? The other thing again is that X-City will also be the destination for people seeking great technical knowledge in sciences and engineering, right? Our future technical college will provide the expert knowledge for the next generation of Liberians to engage in precision, high-tech manufacturing. So what we are going to start immediately is investing in low-tech and low-skill manufacturing processes. And by the way, to do that, we are powering that with renewable energy. We are building solar, right, to power that. And we're not just talking about this, by the way. We build an example, but let me not veer off too much. So the future X-City, we have well laid out community where people can wake up, go to work, right, by riding an electric vehicle to work, right, in the city that is free from noise pollution, that is well laid out, well dedicated to the protection of human health in general. That is the future that we are looking at.
What is the financial value of this whole project?
Oh, great, man. We cannot evaluate it right now because even X-City, right, we have decided to dedicate some spot for future expansion. That means we won't even touch those areas yet because we don't know. So the way I did X-City is that I started it, and I think the young people much younger than me, talented Liberians, both at home and in the diaspora, some of whom are already working for X-City, are going to be the ones to really define what the true future of X-City will be like. So right now, the first phase, for instance, is already well beyond $500 million that we have invested already in X-City, beyond $500 billion, right? Sorry, beyond $500,000 that we have already invested. Sorry. No, let me get this right. Okay,
We've already
invested more than $1 billion. The first phase will be more than $500 million that will be required, right? But we've already invested more than $1 million. I will not disclose the full amount, but that basically places us in one of the.
I think that was used for buying the land and all of that.
Exactly, and the machines and the work that has already been going on.
So work is already ongoing.
Yes,
you should invite me. I should be able to go and see.
I would love to take you to the site for you to go and see. Beyond that, I should tell you something else though, because we believe that Liberians are not really taking advantage of the amount of opportunities we have in manufacturing because of our inability to power our our manufacturing industries, which is changing, and I love that the new LEC management is really doing a great job at that. There are good signs, right, that we all are happy about, right? And I love that. But the other thing I wanted to make sure that we do is that we should tap into our naturally endowed resources like the sunshine that we have to power our industrial processes. So what I did is that I built, as an example, the prototype of the first industrial grade solar microgrid in Liberia, and we just launched it a few weeks ago. I think a couple of people from your station were present there.
What is the megawatt capacity of that?
No, it's not a megawatt. It's a small prototype thing. So we have 80 kilowatt hour capacity right now, and we are going to double that before the end of this year. But what that represents is that it is the first scalable industrial grade microgrid system that has been built in Liberia, and it was built purely from personal initiative. And that system can be expanded as it is, right? If we choose to, we can expand that system to 6 megawatt capacity.
So I'm on your website. I'm seeing all of these structures, all of these different things. This is what you envision, right?
That's correct.
Wow. Okay. We have to go to the lines. Later when we come back, we'll delve into the other things. I'm getting some messages. Bernice Savano says, I'm interested in owning a space there. Please add the contact info on your page. Okay, so you just gave me a pen to write the contact info. We'll pin it right on this. David Koti says, can anyone who is interested in seeing the place go and see? This person says, my 7-year-old daughter is listening to this interview. His story is a motivation for her and me. Mark Tingba sends in that. Thanks for inviting this fellow. He is very good, and I am glad that he is a Liberian. Please ask him what is his plan to help some of our young men and women who have passion to study physics, as he did at the highest level. Ernest Bailey sends in that one. Let's go to the live video where lots and lots of people are watching. Let's see what they're saying there. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We're hosting a very brilliant Liberian. Just bear with me. Let me get these comments on. Okay. This person says, that's Davison. Where going on? Wow, this man is a great man full of knowledge. Julius, I am following via my AirPods, and this conversation had me running in the bathroom to see the person with such a brilliant idea. Idem Bowie says that. Joseph Telewonya, these are the kinds of people we love to hear. People who inspire young generations, not those greedy politicians. Thank you, Dr. Ziama. Francis Swamo says, Julius, I'm a living witness to Mr. Ziama from the William V.S. Tubman High School because I graduated with him in 1999 along with his brother in person of Arthur Ziama, who is also in the U.S. as well. Mr. Ziama was a member of the 12-1 class, and I was a member of the 12-4 class. He and myself practiced together as quizzers under the Palava Hut of the William V.S. Tubman High School. I trust that gentleman brain. Welcome back home, brother. Stephen Toba Tengo, Liberia has a future. Sandal Johnson, Liberian people problem is disunity. Man, maybe for some pass away, this level of discussion is not for many Liberians. Michael Beto, this is commendable. We are proud of you. Nathaniel says Liberians are exceptionally kind people. Okay, good. Let's take your calls. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. The numbers to call, and you will be through to the OK conversation on OKFM 99.5. You all know I'm a stickler for these kinds of conversations. Okay, let's go. We'll have this reposted to the YouTube pages and all of that, so that every time you want to be inspired, you can go and watch. Welcome. Let's hear.
Hello?
You. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Nathaniel Wama, fucking the number 7.
Mm-hmm.
You see that it's our thing that we let in the country. Look at young men, you see a money worthy. You see that join people who want to make our life better, who say we want to destroy Liberia, that will get millions of dollars in the bank. And I have to invest in Liberia. Look at that young man. That Liberia listening to it, then young people will not join on the street and act foolish and start for the war.
Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right here coming in on this line. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius Jeh, good evening, brother.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Oh, my name is Samson Bryan, and I'm calling from New Georgia Estate. I'm so proud this afternoon, Julius, to hear a Liberian speaking in a manner and form that make joy to my heart this evening. It brings a lot of joy to my heart. And I think I would like to get his number so that we can talk better.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius. My name is Elkin Sampo, and I'm calling you from Logan Town. So let me say to the doctor in studio, congratulations. Welcome back to Liberia for making this. Let me say one of the best shows you have ever had in 2025. Not listening to too much noise, too much rhetoric, but this is one of the best IQ Liberia ever pulled on. For me, honestly, a different person compared to any other IQ that I've entered your studio for this year. He's one of the best. So congratulations. Whatever thing you are doing, to do it for Liberia and do it in the best interest of us. Don't link yourself with people, link you into plenty temptation. Just keep on your path and you'll be successful. Thank you.
Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Okay, that one went off. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Samuel F. Holder. I am calling from Kingsville. Please ask your guest why did he name his future city X City? And also, please ask him what's the difference between theoretical physics and quantum mechanics.
Okay, thanks so kindly. He's listening. He will answer. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Julius. Okay. My name is Douglas, and I call you from Barnesville, Maryland Center. Where you got that guy from, Julius? How you got him? Let's suspend the politics more, At least you bring that guy on board at least twice a week. Politics, noise, Ziama. Thank you so much, my dear brother. Thank you. Bye-bye then.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you, President of the Civil Servants.
Julius Jeh, thank you very much for bringing Mr. Ziama into studio today. Actually, he has inspired the entire nation. And I think those of our brothers and sisters and little ones that are learning the natural sciences should be encouraged by what Mr. Ziama is just saying. It tells us that Liberia has a future. And only persons like Mr. Ziama can inspire, especially our young people, to venture into the natural sciences, for some to become even scientists for Liberia, so and so forth. So Liberia still has a future. We cannot give on this nation. Thank you, Mr. Ziama.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you. This side is still problematic. Hello, go ahead. I'm fine. Sorrow, I don't know what the problem is. This side is just so low. So we just use this one line. I'm trying to get it sorted. No way. Welcome, let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon to your studio guests. Julius, where I'm sitting right now, tears is coming out of my eyes.
Why?
And understand that we have such a brilliant people in Liberia. Julius, when you go and do research in Liberia, when you go to places in rural areas, you know that Liberians are very brilliant and clever. But Liberia, one problem we have is that we don't have dreams career. People have those skills and they don't have the opportunity to push it. And you don't have people to help you because people will only come around to help others in the name of politics. This thing this young brother is doing, how many of our Liberians have this intention? Let me tell you my personal story. I'm a Liberian. Since I graduated from high school, I have not been opportune to go to any college or anything. And I wish to go to school through all my life. But this is a young man who people want to come and seek ID. You come to my community and find out who Maya is. My name is Maya Kistabofi, and I'm calling you from the Foreign Affairs God Bless the Community. There are a lot of knowledge people have for how to push it. I'm asking this young man, please, or this elderly man in the studio, this studio guest, please create an avenue to help Liberians that you have, so that when you have more people who are greater than you, to put those ideas together, Liberia will get better.
Okay.
Please help other people. Please, we beg you.
Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
David Koti, my name.
Go ahead, sir.
The name Ziama sounds like a name from Lofa. I don't know whether you're from Lofa. And number two, can I come to visit your city anytime as a private citizen? Just drive there to see what the city looks like. And will you accept a job to teach at least a course in physics at the UL anytime? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. Let's see who's on this side. Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah?
Yes. My name is Oscar Kato. Ziama is my friend and brother from Todmaha.
Okay.
I'm from the 12-2 class.
Okay.
Ziama, I'm happy to hear from you, my brother. It's been a long time. I mean, I thank God for you so much for the level of education you have acquired. I thank you, and I pray that God continue to extend you massively. And I pray that God continue to bring more knowledge to be able to help in this country. So thank you, Ziama.
The man used to be troublesome too. The man looking like he was troublesome small.
Who, man?
Ziama.
Ziama know me good.
No, I'm saying he used to be troublesome in the school.
No, Ziama not troublesome. It means if you want the smartest student, he was one of the smartest students in the class. In the class at the time.
I mean, when I say troublesome, you won't tell me. You understand what I mean? They may not looking handsome like that. You are not troublesome.
No, not troublesome. Someone else to learn the business.
Ah, okay.
No, after education, I know it good.
Okay, good. Okay, welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Julius.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate for the kind of guest that you have today. But let me appreciate him first for his knowledge, and I see that his IQ is very well composed. And this is kind of people that we need on your show most of the time. That's why I always glue to your radio. But I want to ask him, I have similar vision like that. For me, I was doing my in Curiousburg that I talk about doing a city like that Liberia to high tech, myself design it. And I did a project proposal on that, but I was still yet having conversations around people who do investment. But I want to ask you, is it only for high-income people, or there will no and low-income people there, or middle-income people? That's what I want to ask him about.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. I think that will be the final one. There's a lot for him to respond to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to thank everyone for calling, and for those who attempted but weren't able to get through. And I'm super grateful to all of you for your kind words. And I look forward to helping in whatever way I can to continue to do even better things than we've embarked on. One of the things I want to respond to is Mr. Koti's question. He had two questions. One, can any ordinary Liberian go to see the state of Exodus as it is right now? And the answer is emphatically yes. So we're not hiding anything. We are open. Please call us on the number that was shared at the 777-90-9012. We'll give you detailed directions and even maybe send you a pin drive that you can follow and go and see it. The other thing, you can also come to our business offices, which is in Johnsonville, where we've built the solar microgrid, and there's a small investment.
Which part
there.
of Johnsonville?
It's when you pass the graveyard. It's opposite the Representative Thomas Fowler's residence.
Okay.
I hate to talk about someone else's residence without their permission, but I think it's the one popular home that is located there that we can use. But yeah, so it's located in the Johnsonville right after the graveyard in that community. If you ask people where is this Exeter building, they'll point at it. But it's right opposite Thomas Fowler's residence. So yeah, to that response to Mr. Koti, the answer is yes. And he also asked about whether I could teach a course in physics at the physics department of the University of Liberia. My response to that is that there is a context here. I have been involved in not only this Exeter effort, but I've been involved in helping Liberia in basically growing new physicists. I did, when I was still a student, I sent in a series of containers about 5,000 books in total for the University of Liberia. I didn't buy these books out of my pocket. I did spend some money on transportation, but I launched a book collection campaign at my campus, and we did this over a couple of semesters. Beyond that, I have right now a student who's studying for his PhD in physics in the United States. And it was all because I connected the physics department of the University of Liberia to the physics department of Purdue University. They signed a memorandum of understanding. That is the extent to which I've been involved in helping improve the status and the environment for learning physics in Liberia. So there are understandings on paper, and I hope that we can continue from where we are to improve those relationships and give more opportunities to young and talented Liberian students to take advantage of these efforts.
Dr. Ziama, we want to say thanks so kindly for being here. We know we will have more and more interactions. I look forward to going to see the place soon.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure being here. I thoroughly enjoyed my time here, and I look forward to the continuing engagement with you.
I also say thanks to my man Emmanuel Kotu for the connection. As someone was asking, how did you get the man? Emmanuel Kotu made it possible. Yes. So we are out. Let's take a break. Our next guest should already be in the building.